Have you ever cracked open a piece of electronics and just stared at that green board inside? You know, the one with all the confusing little colorful bits and pieces? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today. We're going to demystify it all, breaking down the absolute basics so you can start to see that it's not magic. It's actually a pretty cool and logical system.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with a really simple analogy that honestly makes everything just click. From there, we'll meet the main players, the resistors, capacitors, and all their friends. Then we'll cover the rules of the road they all follow, and we'll even learn how to decode their secret language.
Okay, first things first, let's get rid of this idea that electronics is some kind of wizardry. It's not. And the absolute best way to understand it is to think of it like something we all get: plumbing, a water system. Seriously, this one simple comparison is the key that unlocks everything else. And here it is, the core of the whole idea. Think of voltage as the water pressure, the force that's pushing the water through the pipes. And then you have current, which is just the flow rate, how much water is actually moving past a certain point. Just keep those two ideas in your head. Voltage is pressure, current is flow, and you're going to find the rest of this so much easier to grasp.
So, if we're building a water system, one of the first things we'd probably want to control is, well, the flow, right? And that is exactly where first and probably most common component, the humble resistor, comes into play.
This picture says it all. Imagine you've got this big, wide pipe with water gushing through it. Now, what happens if you stick a really skinny piece of pipe in the middle? The flow slows right down, doesn't it? That's precisely what a resistor does for electricity. It's just a bottleneck.
So its entire job, its whole reason for being, is to limit the flow of current. Simple as that. And when you see circuit diagrams, you'll see it drawn as this little zigzag line, which kind of makes sense, right? It looks like a little obstacle course for the electricity. So why on earth would you want to do that? Well, a classic example is protecting a little LED light. If you hook an LED straight up to a battery, it's like turning a fire hose on a tiny flower. Poof, it'll burn out instantly. A resistor chokes that flow down to a safe level. They're also super important for all kinds of other things, like creating timing circuits.
But here's the thing. Resistors don't just have a resistance value, they also have a power rating, which leads to a very interesting question. What happens if you try to force way more power through one than it's built to handle?
Well, that happens. And no, that's not an exaggeration. The source material for this actually showed what happens when you hook a tiny little resistor up to a big power supply. It smokes, it glows red hot, and then it literally just bursts into flames. So yeah, that power rating, it's not a suggestion, it's a critical safety limit.
All right, next up on our tour is the capacitor. Now, if a resistor is like a skinny pipe, a capacitor is a little more clever. In our water system, you can think of it as a kind of temporary storage tank.
I absolutely love this analogy. Imagine a water tank that's split in half by a big rubber sheet. When water flows in one side, it pushes on that rubber sheet, stretching it out. The water can't actually get through to the other side, but it stores that pressure in the stretched rubber. Then, if the pressure outside drops, the diaphragm snaps back, pushing the water back out. That's a capacitor in a nutshell.
So its main gig is storing electrical charge. This is super useful for things like smoothing out a bumpy power supply, turning a choppy wave into a nice flat line. You'll see these symbols for them, but pay attention. Some of them, the electrolytic ones, have a plus and minus sign. You have to hook those up the right way, or they can, well, let's just say they fail pretty spectacularly.
And, to prove a capacitor is really just two conductive plates with an insulator sandwiched between them, you can build one yourself. All you need is a piece of cardboard for the insulator and some aluminum foil for the plates. Just stick a piece of foil on each side and that's it. You've made a capacitor. So the big question is, how good is it?
Yeah, it's terrible. We're talking 1.8 nanofarads, which is an incredibly tiny amount of storage. But this disaster of an experiment proves a really important point. To get a lot of capacitance, that insulating layer in the middle has to be ridiculously, microscopically thin. That's the secret to how they pack so much punch into such a small package.
Okay, so we've looked at what are called passive components, the resistors and capacitors. Now let's move on to the active components. These are the smarter parts of the circuit that acts more like valves and switches. It really doesn't get much simpler or more important than the diode. Think of it as an electronic one-way street. Current can flow through it in one direction, no problem. But if it tries to go backwards, nope, the road is closed. This is absolutely fundamental for all kinds of things, like protecting your gadgets if you plug the power in backwards.
And then we have the transistor. This might just be the most important invention of the 20th century. It's basically a switch with no moving parts. A tiny little trickle of current at one pin can control a massive flood of current flowing through the other two. It's like using your pinky finger to open a giant dam gate. This is the bedrock of every computer, phone, and calculator on the planet.
Okay, we've met the parts, we know what they do, now we need to learn the rulebook. There's one fundamental law that governs how all these things interact, the physics that makes our whole water analogy work, and it's called Ohm's law.
And this little triangle is your cheat sheet. It shows the relationship perfectly. Voltage equals current times resistance. If you ever need to figure one of them out, you just cover it up with your finger. Want to know the voltage? Well, you're left with current times resistance. Need to find the current? It's just voltage divided by resistance. This is the essential piece of math you need for pretty much all basic electronics.
All right, let's wrap this up with something super practical. How in the world do you know the value of one of those little resistors just by looking at it? Well, you don't need a fancy meter, you just need to learn how to read the secret language of those colored bands. So, here's the decoder ring. On a standard resistor, the first color band is your first digit. The second band is your second digit, and that third band tells you how many zeros to tack on the end. So if you see brown, black, and then red, that's a 1, a 0, and then 2 more zeros. So 1000, which is 1000 ohms. It looks intimidating at first, but there are some memorable ways to learn the color order.
Now, there are a lot of mnemonics out there to remember the color order. And honestly, the rude ones are usually the ones that stick the best. A really old one from the source is "Black boys ride our young girls, but virgins go without." It gives you the first letter of each color in order: black, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, gray, white. It's not politically correct, but you'll probably never forget it. Okay, we've gone through analogies, components, and even the rules. But just memorizing charts and formulas, that only gets you so far. So what's the secret? How do you really get this stuff to sink in?
And this, right here, is the most important takeaway of all. The real way to learn is by doing. You have to get your hands dirty. Buy some kits, build them, and don't be afraid to mess up. When you accidentally blow something up or see smoke coming from your project, that's not a failure. That's a lesson you will never forget. It's through that hands-on trial and error that one day, suddenly, all these abstract ideas will just click into place.